Hello, my little chickadees. Welcome to Back to the 90s. That's an old joke and none of you will understand it. Welcome to the Fluffenhammer Battle Mallet, where we pick a topic and we delve deep. We fondle the bollocks of the thing that we like to see. That's usually something to do with Warhammer. Doesn't necessarily have to be. If anybody wants us to do an entire deep dive on Event Horizon, I will do a deep dive on Event Horizon. I will speak at great length about Event Horizon. We found ourselves on Event Horizon. That would be the best episode of Scooby-Doo you've never seen. I am not alone. I'm going to get other people to talk. With me, of course, is my partner in crime for many, many years, Mr. Andy.
Hello. I'm glad that I don't need to fondle the balls of justice today.
No, I just need you to spit polish them.
Oh, that's okay. I've got a lot of spit today. Been building it up.
Especially for this.
It's winter.
Oh, I thought you meant just for this recording. Yeah. Get as much filament as you can.
No. You know, winter comes along, you get a little bit more juicy than you were in the summer where you dry out.
Well, you become desiccated, Andy, in the summer.
I become sticky Andy in the summer.
Stick Andy, my favourite.
No, sticky, not stick. Don't become a twig, sticky, where you touch me and like, ugh.
Oh, I was thinking more like just stick man.
No. It's like the ooze that children somehow produce and touch everything with, and you're like, how is my child sticky? They haven't done anything, but they're sticky, and everything they touch is sticky. Why is this happening?
I have absolutely no idea how to answer that question, and I have a child.
I know, but you know it's true, don't you?
I know. I absolutely understand and know and fully agree with you. I don't get where this mucus comes from.
They secrete an enzyme from their body called youth, and it's a disgusting thing.
That it touches you and it saps some of yours out.
That must be it. That's how they kill their parents over time. They draw the life energies from you using their sticky touch.
I did wonder why I woke up the other morning and Joseph was pouring my soul out of my body. I just went, your soul is mine.
I thought you were going to say he was over my bed with a pillow.
No, I went Shang Tsung, not Smother Daddy. Although Smother Daddy is my type of... No, anyhow, right.
Joseph, what are you doing in my room? I love you, Father. Go back to sleep.
I love you, Father. And also we have... Big Swinging D himself.
I think I'm the traumatized observer in this circumstance, but let's go.
Oh, mate, you have no idea what's coming. So we're going to be talking today about White Dwarf issue 213, which I believe is Andy's first ever issue.
Wow. The one that I remember.
Yeah. The one that sticks in the brain the most from young little Andy.
Yeah, because I remember getting up very early in the morning and walking to the newsagents to buy it. I was like, yeah, buy it. And I got it, and it had little battle stone things to hide behind, which you could glue together, which was fun. Yeah, and the glue was always shit because it was PVC glue, so they always popped apart in not too long.
Yeah. Oh Christ! My copy of it doesn't have the bunkers in anymore, but it has all of the Gorkamorka tokens.
Oh really? Oh
yeah. Missing 3, but apart from that, I've got all the Gorkamorka tokens in it still. So,
see, by this point, I'd learned the trick of this terrain: staples.
yeah, if it works.
I think I tried super glue, but that warped it. If memory serves me right, it ended up warping it a bit, and it didn't work. One of these days, I'm going to learn the magical secrets of hardboard and start making terrain out of that. Because the people who do that, they mystify me in ways I can't explain.
Do you mean the people that just make guns out of like bits of boxes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I wondered if you meant that, or did you mean the companies that sell cardboard?
No.
Terrain?
I'm talking about the people who get like a sheet of hardboard and then they just make something out of it, and all the lines are straight and it doesn't fall apart under its own weight. Because that's something that I've never been able to do. There was a guy, Jeff, at my old War Games Club in Workington, and he had you may remember the Townscape, the Warhammer Townscape, and he had mounted everything on hardboard and then built it, and it looked amazing. It was brilliant, and I'll never understand how he managed to do it, because the precision he needed to get everything just right was insane. And then he started making tanks. So he said he made like Lehman Russes and Rhinos out of the hardboard, and then would just sell them to like the young kids for $5. The kids who came to the club, so you could buy a Lehman Russ for $5. It's just like, how are you making these? Just what?
Why didn't you ask him?
I probably did. It was a long time ago. I can't remember shit.
Oh no.
Right. So we are looking at September 2013, and there are a couple of films which are worth discussing. Just films that came out during this month, and I'm going to go through these in. Would you like them in order of importance or order of money that they took at the box office?
I don't care.
Let's go for money.
All right. Well, if we're going for importance, the number 9 would have been number 1. So, a film called 1,000 Acres, which I've never heard of. Number 9, the greatest movie ever made, Wishmaster, came out. At number 8, Fire Down Below. Number 7, The Edge, or as I like to call that, Anthony Hopkins Kills a Bear.
I love that movie. That's fun.
Yeah. We're going to kill the bear. We're going to kill the bear.
And it's Alec Baldwin being a murderer.
Yep. Oh, Alec Baldwin. Yeah, fresh off his method. Fresh off his shadow experience, and he just goes around murdering people.
Yeah,
Art
imitates life or something.
I was going to just leave a couple of seconds silence and then move on. Number 6, Peacemaker. Number 5, Soul Food. Number 4, The Full Monty. Number 3,
oh my God.
The Game. Do you remember Michael Douglas's The Game?
Yeah, I like
Vaguely,
The Game.
yeah.
The Game's great.
Yeah.
Number 2, In and Out. And number 1, actually a very good film, In LA Confidential.
Oh, that's a great film. That's
Yeah.
really good.
It is. It really is.
If you were going to ask me like which I thought was the best, I would have said The Game, but then you said LA Confidential. I was like, oh, well, never mind. The Game. Never mind.
Was that just that month, or was that for the year? Because that's a hell of a month. If that was all 1 month.
That is September 1997. If you look through the releases of September 1997, there is a higher than average great film release.
Oh, man.
It's brought down a little bit because things like Batman and Robin and Lost in Space came out the same year.
Oh, Lost in Space was amazing. It had Joey from Friends in it.
It did. Who at that point was getting chunky and had the nickname of Matt LaFlat.
Gary Oldman was in it as well, wasn't he?
One of my favourite bits of knowledge is the fact that Gary Oldman did his bits for Lost in Space, like all the big spidery bits. And when he finished, he ripped off the ping pong balls off his face, went, there, put it in your fucking computer and be fucking done with it.
I always liked the visual design of the ships and the armor and stuff in that film.
Yeah.
The film itself is batshit insane, but the actual...
Lost in Space, I firmly believe it had this element of it pushed to be batshit insane, but then the studios just went nope and reined it back in again, and that's why you can kind of see these glimmerings of just this really weird film that they tried to make.
It's one of those movies I would love to see even with unfinished special effects, kind of like the original cut before the execs got worried and went, no, we need this reshot now. Do it. We can't release this.
The script was being rewritten as they were filming it. It's one of the
surprised me.
It's one of the problems with it. They were getting notes from up on high throughout the entire filming process. So, they'd film a scene one day, then do another bit that scene needed to be there for, but then that bit's been taken out, so they've got a scene which they didn't need anymore.
Yeah,
it's a bit of it's a sad story, to be honest, because it could have been something really, really odd, but just too much money involved. That's the problem.
And outside, well, even Matt Blanc wasn't offensive in it. It had
no
a bad cast.
No, nobody was offensive in it.
William Hurt.
Yeah. William Hurt's awesome.
Rogers.
Yep. William Hurt is awesome in everything he does.
This is true.
But But I think we should talk about the most important film of this, which is Wishmaster.
Yeah.
If you want a good time, just watch Wishmaster. Wishmaster is just such good fun.
I feel bad in saying I've actually never got... There's a huge chunk of horror movies I've never got around to watching. So I'm using our watch along to kind of sneak them in there. And Wishmaster's one of them.
It's a good one. They get progressively worse. They get progressively worse pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like 3 is really bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you remember 3, Andy?
I do remember 3. 2's tolerable, but 3's like Ooh.
The problem is 2 starts off with the wish of, I wish I could have sex with 2 girls at once. And then 2 lesbians sit up and they just kill him.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's so lazy. It's just like, what? Oh. I guess it has 2 women in, so okay.
Well, the first one has such beautifully pitch perfect ones. Like, to get through here, you have to walk through me.
Yeah,
and I'd love to see that. I wish I could see that. Oh, and then you've just got Andrew Dickoff. He's having such a good time.
No, he's just a demon. He was always a demon. He's not a real man. Is 2 the one set in the prison, or is 3 set in the prison?
No, I think 3's in the prison. With
3's in the prison.
Ends with Saint Michael.
Okay, I couldn't remember which Michael. Oh. Yeah, it must have been 3 because I remember a lot of the prison scenes being pretty stupid.
Yeah, no, it's 3. 3 is awful.
I don't think I could run a session of just all of the Wishmaster movies.
There's only 3, I think, right?
I think there's 4.
There's 4? Oh.
I'm sure there was a 4th one.
Oh, dear.
I really like Wishmaster. Wishmaster, the game is a surprisingly taunt thriller, and it's very much worth a watch. And LA Confidential is just gorgeous.
Great film.
Just such a beautiful, beautiful film to watch.
Yeah.
However, in September, there's some... there's no way of getting around this. Some stories happened in September 1997, which... meant that the number 1 in the charts for a lot of September was the same song, and that was Candle in the Wind by Elton John. Yeah. I'm not going to get into what happened in September 1997, but freaking hell. Of all the months, it's like, what was happening in the world? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Did it involve a princess in France?
It did.
Yes. Yeah, I remember being very annoyed because I was young and I didn't care.
I remember going to watch Earthworm Jim, and there was just news on. Like, where's my Earthworm Jim? And my mum's burst into the room. Princess Diana's dead. I was like, hi.
Yeah, I remember I'd gone up early that Sunday morning to watch something on the early morning cartoons. The pre-6 o'clock stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't there. It was all the coverage of the crash, and it was like, oh.
Because people need to remember, this was before there were children's channels and whatnot, for the most part anyway. So you were fucked. If you were a young kid, you had nothing to do apart from just watch this news, and you're like, I don't care.
And Channel 4 had form for putting on some cracking cartoons in there between 5 and 6.
Oh yeah,
Jason the Warriors, Sandokan, all that stuff got folded into that slot. It was brilliant.
Channel 14, 5 and 6 is the only place that I became aware of the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventures cartoon.
Oh my god.
And the Back to the Future cartoon and the Super Mario Mario Brothers cartoon. Yeah.
Yep. They all ran in that slot, yeah.
So Candle in the Wind stayed at number 1. Before Candle in the Wind, it was The Verve with The Drugs Don't Work at number 1. And before that was Will Smith's Men in Black.
Oh, that's a good song. I like that.
But what I got interested by this, is is Candle in the Wind the highest selling track of 1997 in the UK? And no, it's not. Would you like to know the 2 songs that beat it in the year?
Is it Mr. Blobby song?
Oh, you're so close. It's
really
Puff Daddy and Faith Evans with I'll Be Missing You.
Oh.
And the Teletubbies say "Uh-oh."
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man. You couldn't beat Britain for music charts back then. We always picked the best music.
Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping also sold the same amount as Candle in the Wind.
Wow.
That just says here. Also, big sellers, no doubt, Natalie and Blue, the Gewurgula, Spice Girls. It's just interesting to see what was going on in the world at that point. I was going to look at the general news of that time as well, but then I just saw that. I went, no. So we're going to just blast through White Dwarf issue 213, which came out, as I say, September 1997. The cover is of some, what should we say, some loyalist heretics as they blast their way through a chapel monastery.
Yeah, they're not very green.
They're more black.
I think, you could easily mistake them for being black than actual green, Dark Angel green. Are they black? Are they meant to be the fallen in this? Or?
No. It's a very, very dark green.
Okay.
Like, you can just make out a slight hint of it in the colour, but it's not particularly...
No, I would say it'd be something in the printing, but the guns are all really light. So it's an odd one. Attack of the Tyranids, 20-page special on the new Epic Army. Don't worry. We're not going to go through every 20 pages. New Space Marine Scouts, a complete 40k scenario to play, including free counters and 3 tabletop barricades. Yeah. Now, I'm going from the UK issue, and you guys are going from the Australian issue. Because I scanned the wrong one. So our news will be different. So should I just burn through the news that I have in my issue, and then if there's anything in yours?
Is the news different?
I think it is.
It was sometimes in some of the international White Dwarfs.
Okay.
But there were little bits of variety in there.
Well, I'm really glad that you chose this issue, Andy.
No, I was as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, Gruff would be happy with this."
The first piece of news is, not content with releasing the rather wonderful Warhammer Dark Omens later this year, the nice chaps at Mindscape SSI will be bringing out another Games Workshop computer game before Christmas. This time, it's Epic 40,000, under the working title of Final Redemption. That's not what it ended up being called, is it, Andy? It was called...
What was it called?
Final Liberation. The genius.
Yeah, Final Redemption doesn't sound quite right, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Final Liberation is like, ooh, there's a title.
It's so close. I'm just thinking that's a typo. Someone's made a typo rather than it
Redemption, Liberation. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I love how they're touting for 20 minutes of live action footage.
Well, to be fair, like they say Warhammer Dark Omens is coming out later in the year. I'd say one of the problems with Warhammer Dark Omens is there is no live action in it. And granted, I assume that's probably because they were putting it on the PlayStation, so it might not have been able to handle the video footage.
No, it would have been so compressed and so bitty that it wouldn't have been worth doing.
That's a damn shame. Damn shame.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would love to have seen more live action stuff in the games. You know, can you imagine what... saying that, though, Shadow of the Horned Rats, FMV sequences, I adore them.
They're fun. They're like MSN Windows Paint animated stuff, which is cute. But you can't say that you wouldn't have liked to have seen a rat on a stick.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen a rat on a stick.
Imagine the intro sequence, which on the PlayStation was completely invisible because it was way too dark, of the assassin rat slitting the man's throat, but the rat is a puppet rat.
Yep.
That would have been so cool.
As we all know, my favourite orc is the orc from the beginning of Final Liberation that does the entire, we go to war!
And he's clearly just an orc on a stick. It's great.
Yeah, he's great. He's so good. Other bits of news. Scribblings from the Black Library, which is the release of Inferno issues 1 and 2, priced £5.
Wood Elf dude's looking very green on there. I don't remember him looking that green.
Oh, he was very green.
Super green. In current days, he's more fleshy coloured.
He is, yeah. Oh, back in those days.
Yeah, Orion, it could depend on who was drawing him, to be honest, and who the painter was, because he's run the whole gamut over the years.
Of course, the piece of news in my version, which makes Andy very happy, is the release of new Skeleton Spearmen.
Yeah, we got that too.
Yeah. Good. Release of the Dwarf Cannon, some community stuff.
Hey, don't you dare miss out from Russia with L, where they sell you a box for $60. I had that box.
Did you?
Yeah. My guys got damaged inside of it.
I'm not surprised.
I think I still have one of those cases somewhere.
They're not the best. Bless them.
No, that 20 quid for this, which is not a bad price actually.
60 Australian dollars is a bit rough though.
Yeah, well,
some things never change.
Yeah. Having nice beaches tax. That's what that is.
On the page underneath the dwarf gun, it says they've got the something militia. What are those miniatures from? Because I don't recognize them at all.
Well, back in the day, the Sis of Battle to take for terrorist militia.
Oh.
It was just like literally civvies.
Who
got all caught up in religious fervour. They grabbed the nearest pistol and bit of cutlery and gone a bit mental.
I like the idea of that. These are local barmen who the sisters have gone in and said, we need your help. And they're like,
it's
lads.
They've just kind of like congregated around a preacher or something.
I like my idea better.
Yeah. It was a shame there was only 4 sculpts because they were quite nice minis. I mean, I only kept the one in the bottom left.
Oh, shirt, the one with his shirt popping open.
Yeah, I was trying to I tried to convert him into a swashbuckler for Warhammer, I think.
Ah. Oh god, these would have been lead as well, wouldn't they? Oh no, they'd been white metal. These would have been white metal.
Point,
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Well, no, it was surprisingly easy because I had a few spare bits lying around, but really, I don't think I've ever managed to finish it off, which is more of my problem than anyone else's.
I mean, if you've still got Sir Pancelot over here, I think you should dig him out.
I don't have him. I think I've got the dude with the bold dude at the top of the last cradling his last pistol. I'm sure I've seen that mini in one of my bags somewhere.
It's a shame because if you had the one with the shirt popping open, I would have offered you some money for it, and then we would have tried to do like a raffle for him or something. The sexiest man in the Imperium.
You could make him into a rogue trader, add a big cape and something like that.
I would not want to add anything to him.
No, I mean,
shirt popping, pants that's really all you tight. Need. Yeah,
in hand, it's pretty much a perfect mini, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those concepts I wish they did more of because it was just fun.
You wish they did more sexy men. Well, more sexy men in 40k.
We've had plenty of sexy ladies.
I want a sexy orc.
You've got them. You check out the Bloodborne cheerleader. I mean, the current one, not the one with out the bra.
Yeah.
The older one.
We also got a Nazdreg.
I used to have this.
Oh, you had a Nazdreg, did you?
Yeah, I was sure I still had it, and I checked everywhere, and I couldn't find it, which was a shame because I'd love to paint him up now.
That's a crying shame, actually.
He was heavy.
I was going to say that was a chunky old mini, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was just metal.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he the biggest orc at that point? Because Ghazghkull was more mass than.
I don't know if he was the biggest, but I mean he's on a standard base for the time period, so
just.
It is literally just, isn't it?
Yeah, he's squeaked on there.
Then we've got an advert for the High Elves, Warhammer Armies High Elves, which I'm trying to remember. See, I'm struggling to remember who got new books in 5th Ed Fantasy Battle. Now, I know the High Elves did. I'm sure the Empire did. Obviously, Bretonia and Lizardmen did. Is there any others?
If I remember rightly,
Skaven did.
Most of them at least got a rebranding of the dress. So the title bar got redone on almost all of them to match the new logo. Yeah. But let me see. Empire, Actually, Empire, I don't think they got a full edition. They just got a revised edition.
Okay.
Same cover, but no real change. I think the Wood Elves may have come out in this edition, I want to say.
Oh, yes, that rings a bell.
So they were a new one, because they were like mid-edition, I think, when they came out. Chaos certainly had several new books over this, because this one they did for Champions of Chaos, Warriors of Chaos, Beasts of Chaos, and made Chaos players' lives a living hell for how many books they had to carry.
Some things never change.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because the Chaos Dwarves got White Dwarf Presents. So that was this edition.
Yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome. Ogre Kingdoms didn't exist yet.
Nope.
Good.
Dwarves. I don't think the Dwarves got a new book. They had a revised one as well.
Yeah, I know Dwarves definitely didn't. They because they held on till 6th Ed with the tiny dwarf book.
Didn't, but they had Vampire Counts at the very end of the edition.
Yes.
That was like the first of the revised format for how they were going to do things going forward with putting in equipment in the unit options as opposed to separately in a different part of the book. And I've just made myself feel very bad with that. I can remember all of that nerdy lore. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to move on with a page here that I'm sure that you guys don't have, which is a grand opening page for Enfield and Aberdeen.
Oh.
Do you know what is on this page, which makes me feel very, very old and very, very sad? Yep, 15 quid off a Warhammer or Warhammer 40,000, Necromunda, Space Hulk, or Warhammer Quest product.
Wow.
Buy 3 boxed sets and get the one with the lowest price for free.
Oh my god, you're saying GW used to do deals?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Buy 3 blister packs, get the one with the lowest price for free.
Yeah, I remember
£5
them.
off any one army book. £5 off any one codex.
Yeah.
That was a lot back then as well. £5
Yeah.
off a codex.
Well, yeah,
That was like half price for most part of most things.
I mean, yeah, the codex at that point were either £12.50 or £15, depending on.
Yeah.
So, Jesus.
Now they're like 30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
sick.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then, sorry, what was that?
And it was only a couple of years later that they did their last company-wide sale.
Yeah. I think the last one was 1999, wasn't it?
No, it was 2000 odd, because I was at university and went to the Swansea shop and just raided all their metals for the Empire. I bought myself a non-artillery train.
God.
And I mean that literally.
Yeah. God damn. That's different world. Different world.
Wasn't it just?
Yeah. So we're hitting the first article. The first one, and it's a bit of a Gorkamorka. Is Gorkamorka the one that you've got as well?
It is.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen up, because I'm going to tell you a story. It's the best story of them all, where blood and lots of fighting and huge lads with fists like boulders and heads as tough as rocks. So listen hard, or I'll cuff your harder. So yeah, the story of Bad Max, which, by the way, is available for you to listen to on the Fluffenhammer YouTube channel.
Woo!
Because I have read the entirety of this story on there. But it's really cool getting a load of Gorkamorka stuff. It's always good for the soul, I think, for me, when you open up an old White Dwarf and it's got a load of Gorkamorka in it.
Well, this is what we've talked about on the you and George have talked about on the show before, when the Gorkamorka was getting pushed heavily and then still failed.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Because I think there's Gorkamorka in the next 3 issues as well, and it's all pretty heavy. Isn't like the next issue the one where you get the tower?
Yes, it is. So yeah, it's mental, isn't it? That Gorkamorka had 8 months of constant pushing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Gorkamorka was one of the games I think it was just too early, if that makes sense. It inspired a lot, but if it had come out, I think. I don't know if GW went all in on a version of it today, if it would be a big hit, but I think you'll probably find a market and get itself a nice little bit of traction.
Well, I think if they did a new version of Gorkamorka, the name would sell it. Because a lot of
so much love for it in the community.
Yeah. I mean, there's living rule books and stuff out there, which is probably why they haven't redone it, because why bother putting the money out when people are already doing stuff? But I think you're kind of right. Necromunda did really well. The 1996 Necromunda release did really, really well. And that basically just peppered on until, about 2000?
Yeah.
And then they did a kind of weird redo of it. 2000, 2001.
That was a bit of an odd one. But...
Yeah, that was a strange redo. And if anybody thinks that the 2016 Necromunda was a bit of a weird release, just go back to the 2001, because whoo!
Yeah.
Do you think Gorkamorka would be best served as like an expansion on Kill Team or Necromunda, and you just kind of put it into there rather than making it its own game, just so it can exist, but GW don't need to dedicate as much money towards it?
I'd probably
so
say
you have a Gorkamorka campaign for one of the 2 game systems.
Well, ironically, we now have they have the plastic terrain for your settlements now, which no one ever thought we'd have. They did the Kill Team a couple of years back, so that's a bonus. I mean, if they did it as a variant of the Ash Waste rules for Necromunda, I could see that getting a player base forming quite nicely. And let's be honest, the Orc vehicle kits nowadays, they are quite tasty. And give players a chance just to go mental on all those kits. That'd be brilliant.
Oh, Gruff's dropped out.
Oh dear.
I thought it was weird he hadn't said anything.
Yeah,
especially Gorkamorka wise. I was like, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Because I mean, you can see it just in the pictures here. There's so much creativity in some of those kit bashes that you
Yeah.
messed around with.
It's weird that they haven't done like an upgrade kit for the orcs, where it's just like vehicle upgrade kit, and it's just like bits you can. So you could, if you wanted to, you could buy a whatever the crap gravity tanks are for the Space Marines are, and it's just you have one of them, and then you buy an orc upgrade kit for it, and it's just random orc bits that you can slap on, like sheets of metal. That'd be fun.
They used to do.
I mean, now though, I think it'd be good if they did that now.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, they had metal glyph pit bits and stuff you could get. But I mean, they did have an upgrade kit for the battle wagon sprue.
Yes, they did.
Hey, you're back,
now rolled into the main kit.
I think that obviously, look behind the scenes. Something just happened there, and my Discord just completely froze out. But anyhow, I think that if it was a expansion for Necromunda, it would do really well because the rules are already there with the Ash Waste stuff. It almost feels like it's obvious to me that a Gorka Munda would just you release that, sits on the shelves for 8 months, for however long people want it for, and then you carry on with the next thing. You don't even have to disrupt the Necromunda release schedule for it. You just take the rules, throw a book out, and here's some scenery that we've made. Have at it.
Yeah, and if you want to get really out there, you could always make it a box thing and just run with the current thing and have in the background of all these orcs messing around, you just have a giant Trajan the Infinite gazing down and laughing.
That would be the DM board, like the DM. Just this Trajan the Infinite staring down on the everything that's happening. I would like to say as well that the article that goes into, well, it's not an article as much as a 2-page advert. That's my mate Andy there, just measuring out his orcs.
Oh, not me.
No, not you.
Okay.
My famous mate Andy.
Andy from his leaving the Lemmy phase.
Yeah, so he's left the Lemmy behind, and now he's just in nice hair. He's got good hair.
Oh.
Yeah. Moving on then, shall we get into some Tyranids?
Yeah. They're attacking, I hear.
They are indeed. It's a release for the Tyranids into Epic 40k.
So this was a decent few months then into the Epic release at this point then, right?
This is about a year in.
A year, okay.
Not far off anyhow. I'd have to go back to be completely sure, but I would say this is probably about a year.
Sounds about right, to be fair.
Yeah, between eight months to a year anyhow. And oh my word, this artwork is gorgeous, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
This is like, oh yes. It's just beautiful. Oh man, I miss the Tyranids looking like this.
Same.
So I'm not going to go through all 20 pages of this, but basically it's just a lot of stuff talking about the Tyranids and how the stuff like the synapse creatures and stuff worked. It's interesting as well because a lot of the stuff that we see here is the stuff that ended up being part of what you see in 40k for the Tyranids. Synapse creatures, the myetic swarms, all that type of stuff. It's quite cool.
I've just reminded of how drop pods used to work in Epic with how they did myetic spores. That's a brilliant idea.
You'll have to remind me on that one. I can't remember.
Basically, you create a load of 1 centimeter tokens for each drop pod, write a number on it, or a letter for the unit that's in it, put them on a barrage template you hold above a battlefield where you want to drop them, and then you turn it over. And where they land, that's where the drop pods are.
Oh, that's cool.
Where you just deploy from.
That's very cool.
I think they did something similar for marine drop pods. Maybe a little more guided, but it was still... It's one of those rules where it's just like, oh, that's fun. Let's dump a load of drop pods. And watch your opponent wet themselves.
I'm looking at some of the creatures in here, and you've got the Zonothropes. I miss big fat Zonothropes.
Yeah, with the big flat heads, they're great.
Yeah, lictors, Cormorgants, Termagants, all that type of stuff. Then you've got the Dactylis, which is this strange ball-throwing armored slug, which is real weird. The Biotitans, which I'm going to say I think they still look fucking awesome.
Yeah, Biotitans are fun.
And my personal favourite one, the one that we'll never see again, the Dominatrix.
Yes.
It's the fact they actually called something the Dominatrix. It's just...
Well, it was 97. It was still early days of the internet.
It dominates people. What are you talking about? That's all it is.
It does, but the fact that nobody out there has drawn a picture of this wearing like a leather corset really, really surprises me.
You can draw, Gruff.
Yeah, I'm not doing that though. What do you think I am?
Why not?
A pervert.
Yeah. Not an out-and-out pervert, just like a hidden one. Like a shy one, a shy pervert.
Oh, I'm just in your hedge having a wank.
Yeah, exactly. You don't like to be seen.
I don't want anyone to know I'm here. Oh.
I think it's interesting to see all the epic minis because they're so weird. Like, also the paint schemes on them. Like, the paint scheme on the Hive Tyrant, really dark. More modern in some ways than what the standard Hive Tyrant is for this era. Same for the Zoanthrope as well. Very muted. It's just like really dark, blackish, blue, and then purple, and that's it. Not really obnoxious like I love.
No. Which is weird, because the Tyranids, they look so much like the Tyranids from things like Tyranid Attack and Advanced Space Hulk.
Yeah.
Kind of more so than the Tyranids actually looked, because by this point they'd had that multi-part kit released.
Yeah.
Oh, the Gribbly kit. Gribbly kit was great.
Yeah. What's the big gargoyle called?
Was that the Harridan still at that point?
Yeah, the Harridans. Yep.
Man.
Yeah, tell you what though,
certain things.
Looking at this, I've always said, the entire Blizzard ripping off Warhammer to make Warcraft, and Warcraft was originally meant to be a Warhammer game and all that type of shit. And I've done no research into that one. I don't know what the answer is, and the answer is that there was a singular phone call that went nowhere. But fuck me, looking at this, you can't have see some Zerg, can't you?
Oh yeah.
More so than in like just the normal 40k Tyranids. Yeah. There is some real Zerg happening in.
And this was still 2-3 years before StarCraft hit.
2 years before StarCraft. Freaking hell, it's mental just how close these things got. I quite like the bits where the guys are talking about painting and modelling at this scale. You just, what are you, a wizard?
I mean, first, my static spore bases are just. I remember back in the day thinking, that's awesome, and what are you?
Mm-hmm.
How can you do this?
It's just the fact that he's using walnut shells to smash apart. That's so good.
Step 1, paint black. Step 2, paint brown. Step 3, painted. Step 4, make even better. Classic GW painting schemes from back in day. I
like the picture of the guy's 40k army and then having the exact same army in Epic. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. One's a little bit better painted than the other and looks a little cooler than the other, but it's still nice. Look at the Zoanthrope, he's all orange. The right way he should be.
Absolutely.
And that's Tyranid Attack. That's not the newer warriors, is it? That's the older warriors.
Yeah, that's the old ones.
Yeah, they're the old ones. You can tell because they're weirdly leaning forward.
Yeah. The other ones are a bit more gangly, aren't they? They're more upright and they're a little bit more slenderish, I think.
Yeah. I'd say Sons are probably
really
good
weird
word.
Heads. Because I know that these ones could stand upright, but a lot of players like to model them more crouched down. So it didn't take after much incoming fire. I learned that lesson on the tables very quickly. When I was facing Tyranids.
In the middle of a game, you're just there chopping them and moving them across. Holy crap, I've just realised that this guy, Warwick, doesn't have a last name anywhere, does he? Kinraid. His Termagants are actually the Rogue Trader Termagants.
Oh, really? Oh, that's neat.
Bit of a mix, because he's got some of the metal ones and with the old web gun, and then some of the old metal ones behind him. But
he's got
it's a nice mix.
It is. I'm just looking at his Gene Stealers now. I'm trying to work out if there's any of the Rogue Trader era Gene Stealers in there. I don't think there is. No, I think they're all the that single 3-part plastic kit, aren't they?
Yeah.
My favourite image is the epic one of the Warlord Titan versus the Tyranids in the toilet brush forest. Nothing but toilet brushes for miles and miles. Painted green and flocked.
Oh,
still my favourite Warlord Titan design.
Yeah, it's a great
absolutely.
Warlord Titan. I think it's a damn shame we don't get Titans like that anymore. I like that one the best.
It just reminds me of Warhammer Monthly in the Titan comic.
Well, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we've covered on this channel at one point, didn't we?
We started to, but
fuck.
yeah,
I think I've got the collected edition around here somewhere. The first omnibus they did.
Mm-hmm. I've got that. It's a really good read. Really good read. Yeah, no, we started doing the Warhammer Monthly stuff, and then
stopped.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, some stuff happened, and we ended up just never getting back to it.
Yep.
Shit. Yes. One day I'll get back to that one.
Do you still have the files at least?
Yes, I think I do.
Oh, okay.
But I want.
I might have them somewhere as well, actually.
I think my plan was I wanted to have 6 recorded before I started putting them out.
That's right. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
We only got 2 done. Because then there was all the stuff with my dad, and then it suddenly happened, and I had to take a big break off.
That's right.
So yeah, that's shit, isn't it? So yeah, Epic 40K, lots of good stuff here. I'm adoring the Bio-Titans. Like I had forgotten how good they looked.
They're great. Just big giant spiders with chitinous shells and everything. Just weird giant obvious guns.
I'm especially loving the picture of they got on top of one page of a Harridan being harassed by a swarm of fighter bombers.
Then for the orcs.
That nice chunky early version of them where they had even less aerodynamics than anything the orcs have nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what you want from the orcs. They want to be like stupid, so it's like that can't fly and yet it still does. That's the kind of ship you want.
Yeah, real catch for pigeon vibes.
Yeah.
They did do that, didn't they? As a rule set, catch for pigeon, but with fighter bombers and some.
Yep.
Did they? Damn.
Yep.
Can't remember what the poor bastard they were chasing was. It might have been a Nid thing. It might have been an Imperial courier or something. But it was just stupid rules. Sort of great fun.
I'm gonna have to dig that out for a deep dive at some point. That's the type of stuff I love. The picture on the opposite side of the page from the fighter bombers, the gargoyles. Is anyone else looking at that and thinking that's a parrot's perch they're all on? Yeah, 40K. Did either of you guys get into Epic 40K during the heyday of full-blown 40K Epic?
I remember getting some of these in like Christmas cracker fillers just for fun.
That's awesome.
I know. I remember getting a zone throw, but I don't remember whatever happened to them. I don't think I ever got to play a game because no one else had Epic either.
No.
I think I bought the Imperial Guard detachment, the little box that was all plastic, but I never did anything with it.
Is it still in your house?
That one, no. I keep finding random small minis to run around the place, and I know for a fact I don't have the full things anymore. I was always annoyed that it was mainly Valhallans with a smattering of jungle fighters.
That's right.
Jungle fighters and Cadians, because it was when they were really pushing the Valhallans hard.
They were, weren't they?
Their beige trench coat look in 40K as well.
I had forgotten.
I had Thunderhawk, but it was from the next edition, I think, the Thunderhawk. So.
Yeah. I'd completely forgotten that there was a point where the Valhallans were the poster boys for the Imperial Guard. That is
very weird.
Mental.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, speaking of poster boys in 40K,
woo!
We're moving into a new era here because the Raven Wing are here. So it's the Storm of Vengeance scenario pack is released this month, which is the quite lovely little cardboard building that you used to get. And honestly, to this day, I honestly feel that Games Workshop just needs to start putting like scans of these up on the site for people to download.
Yeah,
people would go mental for them.
Put something out for free. Come on now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know what they could do? They could put if they don't want to give it out for free, they could do it for Warhammer Plus members. There you go.
Yeah, that'd be a really nice extra to have. That.
Yeah.
Won't happen.
Looks like I'm going to have to put this episode out on the mainstream now, just to make sure that somebody hears it. You know?
You can't give everything away for free, Gruff. That's why it's Patreon. It's meant to make people come and understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like the look of this building. It actually reminded me a little bit of a Matchbox little war army set that you used to be able to get, but I can't remember which one.
Yes.
I think it's the shape of it.
No, I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah. I love the design, though. There was something about the design of these little these little cardboard forts that I really like. It's the same with how they used to do the backgrounds. They didn't look real, like the box art for the Raven Wing attack force, where it's just like rocks and stuff, and it doesn't look real. But there's something really nice and quaint about it, which I really admire.
It's just this feeling of unreality, isn't it? It doesn't look real. You're absolutely correct, but it's enough of a pastiche kind of that you just get carried away with it.
Yeah, maybe it's because I know as well that there's real hard work to try and make it look as best as they could. Maybe there's something there as well.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Was this before or after they did for bigger cardboard fortification, or the multi-layered bunker complex?
This was after the stronghold.
Yes, yeah, because this was kind of like where this was. I think was it the last kit like this they did, or one of the last ones?
I think there was one more for fantasy. I think the undead one for fantasy was after this.
Which was the undead one?
There was the Grudge of Drong.
Yep.
And there was a vampire one, and there was the
Bretonian one that had the
that's right.
The nightly tents.
Yep.
Jousting tents.
Yep, that's right. There was the Tears of Isha, which is the High Elves. And then there was a vampire one, which was called... I can even see the cover, but the word... Circle of Blood.
Yes, yeah.
I think I just gave myself an aneurysm remembering that.
Oh, no!
It's just blood pouring out of my eyes. I don't understand. Yeah, Circle of Blood.
The fantasy ones were always interesting because they had to be standalone card on drunks. They had no framework, whereas all the 40k ones, they made use of the great Necromunda bulkheads to really give them a bit of stability and go up a little bit more nuts.
I'm just having a look at the Circle of Blood, and they're not... It's not as cool. I like the bridge.
Yep.
That
bridge was an arse to put together.
Is it because of the curved surfaces?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was painful. Now, Circle of Blood. Yeah, I seem to remember the feeling was Circle of Blood was kind of like pooped out. It just kind of happened, whilst the Tears of Isha, the Grudge of Drong, the buildings you got with them were just glorious.
Did you ever call it the Drudge of Dong?
Yes.
Or Schlong?
No, it was Dong. It was always the Grudge of Dong. It was.
Circle of Blood had that really great mounting. His arm swung back.
Oh, and there was Idol of Gork as well.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, was it actually an Idol of Gork as in a giant rock creature?
No, it was 2 stone idols that you got and some like orc tents.
Ah. See, you could have done something the Dong and had it Skaven related, right? Because bells and whatnot.
The ringing of the Dong.
Yeah, the ringing of the Dong. The great Dong. Beware the toll of the Dong.
For 8 tolls for you.
13 dongs after midnight.
I mean, I think they were already skirting pretty close to the edge with Long Drong and Slayer Pirates and the Grudge of Drong. So.
Oh man, Long Dong was a great character. I always like the fact that you had a dick joke with a big dick joke with the shortest race. Just for some reason, that always made me happy. Moving on then. I don't know if you guys have got it in the scans. I do know that you don't have it in the scans, but there is, of course, a pair of not bunkers. Holy shit! What's the word I'm looking for here?
Barricades.
Barricades. That's the word.
Yeah.
Yep.
The barricades and some Gorka Morka counters.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you guys going to try and print out the barricade scans and try and build them?
I don't have a printer, so I can only print them out with my mouth, which wouldn't work too well.
Likewise.
You guys going to go to the local library and get them printed
out?
Oh,
God, no. I don't even know where my local library is anymore. Got moved years ago.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point. And then next up, we've got a little Dark Angel's army,
Yes,
which
I remember
is
it.
Kendall, Warwick Kinraid's brother, Kendall Kinraid. Holy crap, Kendall Kinraid is a comic book name, I'm telling you right now.
He's going to be a hero or villain soon.
Absolutely.
The only options. I love the scenery. I love the fact that the giant disc that they're on is using the plastic bits that you'd use for the cardboard cutout parts. It's like the bit around at the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
And I forgot
land showed up in so many battle reports back in the day. It was a great piece.
I forgot how silly the Land Raiders used to look as well.
How dare you, sir?
It's great. It's like a lunchbox on treads.
It's a 40k clown car.
Yeah, it's great.
It's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. The modern Land Raiders do look like a bit more like something that would travel around, but I just love how tall those ones were.
They're really tall. They're like they're almost 2 rhinos high.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are 2 rhinos high.
Oh, they actually? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
love the synergy.
actual size.
We've come full circle now, and Horus Heresy is now poop feeds back out, but in much higher detail. It's lovely.
I hadn't realised that they were back in Horus Heresy.
Yeah, in plastic. The Land Raider Explorator.
Because
The Spartan and the Land Raider kit are basically that. The Spartan's just got an extra middle piece, but if you leave that out, you have all the parts to make classic Land Raider. And they've done that as a separate kit with some extra bits.
Also, on the bottom right, are those Grey Knights? And on the rocks, what are the ones on the rocks?
Scouts.
The Scouts. Wow.
Scouts, baby.
Yeah, they're Dark Angel Scouts.
You know, the worst part is they've got some OG-looking Space Marines in the fold, so it's hard to actually see the super, super old Space Marines.
Yeah. But if you look on the very back as well, there's some wonderful little Arbites at the very back.
Oh, I thought they were just Cassicans. They're Arbites.
They're Arbites.
Oh, my God.
They didn't exist at this point.
God damn, like, it just makes you feel happy, doesn't it, looking at it?
Yeah.
It really does. The brand new for this time plastic bikes and the land speeder. I always wanted to get one of those land speeders and then put the Land Raider wheels on the side of it.
Is that what Mini Ed's done a video on? Did he do an older one? No, he did an older one, did he?
He did the original metal
the
one.
Original. Ah, okay.
The original land speeder was a son of a bitch to build.
Yes.
This one wasn't much better, to be honest, but it was a damn sight easier.
I always remember the thrusters at the back being such an arse to slot into place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, if you got anything wrong building up to that. And Andy, his name is Second Ed, not Mini Ed.
But it's Mini-Sode, so Mini Ed.
Yeah, but he plays Second Ed 40k, so...
Mini Ed.
Nope.
It's great seeing him now part of the TT Tactics team, to be honest.
He is.
Wonderful.
Yeah, as well-deserved. Absolutely well-deserved.
Yeah, I went up to open up their headquarters because they're literally down the road from me.
Are they?
Oh.
Yeah, they're in Chippenham.
Yeah.
We should bully them.
15-minute drive.
You should get down there and hello.
Well, I'm trying not to stalk them too heavily.
That's where you've gone wrong.
Yeah, I need to promote the Fluffenhammer.
Just go around and start licking the windows.
All right,
But go down there, lick on the windows, make sure that your tongue writes out the words fluffenhammer.com.
Well, no. What you do is you print out a picture of Gruff with the Fluffenhammer email address and then lick it onto the window like paper mache.
Or you get a standout of me.
Oh.
And then just put one outside of their window every day, and when they remove it, put a new one there.
Just put a note on the door.
Lawrence, Gruff says hi.
It's got a little infrared soundbar in it. Hello. Turning the page, there's a advert for Warhammer 40k 2nd edition with the new Tyranids, and I don't remember the one with the whip having such a sexy swagger to him.
Oh, I do.
Good God.
Oh,
it's like his legs are going faster than his body.
Well, no, it's his penis is leading him forward.
Explains those secondary hands.
It's why both of his arms are held behind his head because he's rushing forward without any control. I just want to impregnate those Space Marines. I do love it. I love the advert here. It's really bright and colourful. It looks so nice, so nice.
It's like the Tyranids are really red, and it's almost like they went, well, Blood Angels can't be less red than the Tyranids, so...
Redder!
Saturated!
I think in fairness, at this point, the Blood Angels was the only other army they had.
Yeah.
The Imperium. They hadn't done Ultramarines they'd done a squad of Ultramarines and a squad of Dark Angels and the Space Wolves, and that was it.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Space Wolves on this terrain would just blend into the fire base because they're the same shade of blue.
The thing that really stands out for me in this advert is the heavy weapons teams. Just the glorious yellow of the plasma and the las gun.
I always remember those heavy weapons were, again, an absolute sod to mount properly. That plasma cannon actually having the shoulder pad molded in was a godsend because none of the others had that. You had to try and fit the shoulder pad and the arm and then glue the fucker on. It was just like, a number of times it just didn't work. When they did the revised kit with the underslung guns, I was so happy. I was so happy.
I don't know. I kind of miss them being up on the shoulder. But that's just me, and I realise I have problems.
Well, at least nowadays there are options, and the options are normally resin or plastic, so they're a lot lighter. They're not chunky lead bits of kit you're trying to pound on there.
Yeah, they're not white metal that slices your finger open when you try to get stuff on them. Do you remember the heavy weapons sergeant there? And the amount of work that ended up turning that into, was it Dante?
No, wasn't it Mike McVeigh did a conversion of him into the second ed box art captain?
He did, yes. That's not the one I was thinking of, but yeah, you're absolutely right on that one.
Oh, was there a different conversion?
It wasn't Dante.
No,
it wasn't Dante.
It was the original Blood Angels captain miniature they converted into Captain Tycho.
Yes.
They changed the bolter for a combi weapon, gave him a new head, and just jizzed up the details on his overall, making him a bit more special.
You know what? I'm going to have to try and find that issue with the...
In fact, I think Tycho may have been an all-new miniature, because he is actually bigger than that original Captain Mini.
He will have been, yes.
Yeah, he's not... Because that one's actually quite... I've got one of those in a box somewhere, and he's actually quite small.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can see that.
Even to the second edition Marine characters.
Mm-hmm. Anyhow, right, moving on. Because I will just stare at that picture forever. And of course, we've got in my UK copy, we've got another grand opening for the 25th and 26th of October 1997, Blanchardstown.
Is that what the town's called?
Yes, it's in Dublin. It's in County Dublin. Once again, 15 quid off, 5 quid off, 5 quid off. 3 box sets get the lowest free, 3 blister packs get the lowest free. I remember going to the Newcastle store opening. And just going in with like the vouchers and the getting the 3 blister packs and getting confused and trying to give them vouchers and get 3 blister packs at the same time. I was like, oh, good God.
I bet you made friends that day.
No, I did not. I did not. Next up then, we've got some brutal game designer, Thomas Pirin. He talks about the Defenders of Avalon. I'm just looking at this picture of the High Up Sorceress. Yeah. Shit in hell, like.
It's great. I missed that art.
Yeah. No, totally not. Like, it's Games Workshop's art used to be completely unique, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it's one of the saddest things about now is it doesn't feel unique anymore. It feels very modern, rather than this stuff which was like leading the pack.
It's like it had its own British style, like the 2080 stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff now is more painted, it feels like.
They've established much more of a house style nowadays, whereas this period they were still... You had John Blanche, you had Mark Gibbons, Dave Gallagher.
Yep.
Kev
Ackland.
No, I'm thinking of not Kev. The comic artist Kev Adams.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Kev Adams. No, Kev Adams was the sculptor, the orc sculptor.
It's not Kev White because he's or is it Kev White? Might be Kev White. Or is he a sculptor as well?
I'm displeased by your lack of Wayne England in that list.
I was going to get to Wayne eventually, but they had a pool of, because this was before they brought on board. Oh God, my brain's just had a meltdown, and I've forgotten his name. Read this. he and his brother. Basically, this is when they still had a fairly small pool of artists, with each with their own distinct styles, effectively, that were doing all the artwork across the books.
Yeah.
Whereas around 2000-ish, they started to establish much more of a unified, grittier style across the board.
Yeah. And I think the early 2000s stuff worked really well because it was so dark, but there was also room for experimentation in there.
Yeah.
One of the things I do dislike about current, I mean, there are exceptions to that, like the Realm of Chaos book, the Battle Tome Chaos. Yeah, that the Zeech book, Nurgle book, they've both got very different styles of art in them than anything else.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is that digital painted look, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with it in any way, shape, or form, but it doesn't sing to my loves.
No, I get what you're saying.
Should we get into some high elves?
Sure.
So got a load of backstory here, and then we've got some new miniatures: the White Lions of Shiraz, the High Elf Maiden Guard, Tyrion with his massive hat,
huge.
Well, this wasn't a new mini for Tyrion at this point. This had been out.
No, but this has been out a while because Tyrion and Teclis got these miniatures out way back when. But this is like a re-release, wasn't it?
Well, it was very much the army that Tyrion was most associated with.
Yes,
because there was girls written in it.
And is it just me, or does Alarielle look weirdly old compared to the White Lions and the Maiden Guard?
Yeah, it's the older attempt to sculpt female characters.
Well, I think it was Gary Morley doing all the elves at this point. And Gary's got a very unique style, and unfortunately sometimes that didn't make it easy for the painters all the time.
No.
Because I've always had a fondness for this miniature of Valariel, to be fair. Much more than the resin version they did previous times.
Yeah.
But you'll notice on quite a few of his elves, they do sometimes have slightly bulbous noses, or the faces just don't match what you expect.
Oh yeah.
Which can
never realised that.
Yeah, which can put the painter. I think it puts the painter off a bit sometimes because I've seen Alariel, that miniature, painted a lot better. To be fair, by other people. Those White Lions, though, I still have a box full of those White Lions, which annoys me because I really want the more recent plastic kit, but I can't get. You can't get that for love or money. You're in front of like 50 quid.
I know.
Which is why I'm happy about the old world.
Yeah, it'll probably turn back up. Does anybody else? So there's a 2,000 point army here, the Army of Avalon. Is anybody else surprised at how little there is actually in it?
Yeah, there's like one unit of the lions, the handmaidens, one set of the silver lances, and archers, Tyrion and her, and that's it.
Well, I mean, you are spending 900 points just on Tyrion and Lariel.
Oh yeah.
It's still relatively a small-looking force.
It is. To be fair, though, Tyrion and Lariel are massive force multipliers on their own right. I remember Tyrion's rules were always bonkers, and Alariel's were equally nuts.
Well, Tyrion was anything in 12 inches tests on Tyrion's leadership of 10.
Yeah, and his sword was. He's got a 1+ armor save.
Mm-hmm.
The first time he dies, he doesn't. Which also gave him a save against magic. His armor makes him immune to any fire-based attacks. And his sword can also, once per game, shoot out basically a burst of dragon's breath.
Yeah.
And his horse is equally bonkers because it can pelt around a battlefield 12 inches a turn.
12 inches with one wound, but for 2 attacks at a leadership of 7. The horse has a leadership of 7.
Yeah, the horse has better leadership for most base infantry in the game.
Yeah.
Really good horseman.
Yeah, he was.
I think it's probably because I was running a lot of Horde armies at this point. I had my Skaven, my Night Goblins. You know I'm a glutton for punishment. I had a Wood Elf army at one point, not for very long. What else did I have at this point? Chaos Dwarfs, obviously. I'm trying to think what else I had in fantasy at this point. I'm sure I
What
had another
didn't
army.
run? That's the question. What didn't run away?
Chaos Dwarfs didn't run away.
That was it. Everything else did.
Pretty much.
The Chaos
Yeah.
Dwarfs would have struggled to well, they'd have been outmaneuvered by this army.
Massively.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
big time. I can't think of anything else I had. But yeah, all of my memory of armies were they look bigger than this. It's just kind of a weird throw.
15, 19.
Sure, right. Moving on. I've got a Manchester Grand reopening, which is
not even 50 miniatures. It's barely 40. Christ.
but the horse counts as 2. Right. So moving on, then we have the cactus, the cactus move, which is a little article all about using scenery in your games. Now, I've got a really fun thing here. Now, this issue that I'm running from here, this is my original issue from September 1997. And I've always had a problem with this issue, which is in the Mission Impossible part, one of the pages is printed upside down.
Really?
Yes. Guess how long it took me to realise that the page was meant to be printed upside down, and it says, now turn this page upside down to find out how well you've done. I'll tell you when I've worked that out. When I was scanning the issues. So, earlier this year. Just, yeah. So there we go. There's a little thought. It's cool, though, seeing all this, like, you know, using scenery and doing lots of different things with the board. Because at this point in time, a lot of what Games for 40k was you had a little bit of smattering, and then 2 armies went and hit each other in the face.
Yeah, this shows a lot more what you can do if you have a bit of creativity.
Yeah, which is always nice. Always nice. We've got the third part of a article called Return to Thorskins Island, which is a campaign based on the tropical islands where the lizardmen live, and it's all these different armies trying to get in and trying to, well, make territory, basically, of anything else. It's cool having all of these different things all take place. The chronicle that's a few pages into the article has all these real fun things. The search for the fabled city of... Do you want to try and pronounce that?
Hang on. Here's up it. It'll be some stupid pun. It always is.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Report to the mysterious caves. Heavy rains have brought down mudslides, washing tons of mud and rock over the edge. It's just cool, isn't it? It's so fun having
and
all
it had the
these
nice
different
idea of
things.
having a campaign controller as well.
Yeah, I like.
They had a few ideas like this around this period where they were really pushing campaigns where there was one person who didn't necessarily play, they just kind of guided things, and but it gave them lots of fun ways to still be involved, which was nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Thorskinson's Island Chronicle is such a cool thing that I might have to try and steal this at some point for next year.
I'm just amazed they got away with that joke in the title. Jesus.
Yeah. But once again, looking at the Chronicle pages, you've got this beautiful art that's just all over the place.
See, I remember that picture at the top of the Chronicle of the Dark Elf with
Yeah.
the axe. And I don't think they've ever done a miniature of that particular... Because I think, was that not a special character in the Dark Elf book?
Oh, now you're asking. I'm afraid to say.
I think it might have been, because I remember his rules were not game-breaking, but it was from a period where they did a lot of characters with no rules. With rules but no mini.
Yeah.
But some of them had a bit of artwork as well, just to show you. And it's one of those that was always a bit novel, because, well, he's a big-ass, muscle-bound elf with a huge freaking axe.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of funky.
It's fun as well that, going from what Andy was saying before about there being a very 2000 AD look, that picture of that elf is so 2000 AD. It screams. It's so good. And that little scaven at the bottom, like, reading from my book as I'm taking a shit.
I even just like how they've put it all on quote-unquote like grainy brown paper and slanted it slightly. Everything about the design of the magazine has a fun little edge to it. Every page has something a little bit more unique to it, where it's not just a standard page with text on it. Generally speaking,
yeah. I mean, they learned, didn't they? They got very inventive very quickly with what you can and can't do in a magazine.
And yeah, I think they've regressed slightly to make it just standard. Nowadays, it's more of a just standard magazine format. Like, I don't think in today's White Dwarfs, you get like for the next kind of page with the dwarfs on, you wouldn't get like the unit on a tray just in the middle of a page.
No.
Yeah.
Like with no border around it or anything. It's just plopped in there, and the text kind of works around the miniatures, which is kind of fun.
It is. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, nowadays editors of White Dwarf don't tend to. It's not a long tenured job anymore. They tend to drop in and out with a fairly quick rotation.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily an indication of how they're doing their job, just I think in terms of how GW treat the role nowadays as a stepping stone to show that you can do that, then progress further or outside the company.
I think the problem is obviously White Dwarf has a hard place to live in modern times, with the internet around and all that jazz.
Yeah,
because this is where we got all the news from back in the day.
Yeah,
you get it all from the website now.
Yeah. I think when White Dwarf came back, it came back strong. It came back real strong. And I think what's happened over time is that it's kind of lost the identity that it came back with, which was a lot of, you already know about all the stuff that's coming out, so let's just look at what we can do with it. What can we create? Yeah. What can we play? What can we, here's some rules for this. Here's some ideas for that. Here's some ideas for making stuff. Here's some conversion ideas. Whereas now it just seems very, not disjointed, but lackluster. It seems to have gone back to being quite lackluster.
It's much less tied to a specific release anymore.
Yeah.
In the current version of White Dwarf. But they also seem to have had a bit of a twist in focus, so that they've made it very much more now a hobby magazine. I mean, the bunker stuff they're doing, it's not necessarily for me, but I love the fact that it's there.
Totally agree. The community stuff is great.
In there and how they run through stuff like running mini campaigns and give new mission options and stuff. It's probably like I don't disagree that it's not as strong as it was when it came back, but it's probably doing as well as it could do in the current space.
Yeah,
and at least it's no longer. Anyone who says it's a catalogue has not read a White Dwarf in a very long time.
No, completely. And that weekly White Dwarf was shit.
Oh yeah,
it was absolute knackers. I think if there was more hobby stuff in there, like here's how we painted. So about a year ago, they did that entire thing about Ashquay, and they showed off how people painted their Sigmar stuff for people who lived in Ashquay. And it was like in-depth paint designs and things that people put on their bases and all that type of thing. And a lot of that seems to be missing now.
Sorry, I'm just going to quick flick through this month's.
Mine's sitting there. I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
I mean, it's not completely vacant. I mean, they've gone into stuff like effectively.
I mean, there's plenty of good lore in there. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
that stuff's real strong.
They're doing Xenophile painting. I never thought I'd read a White Dwarf where they do not a bad job of running you through how to do basically Slapshot effectively.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
And hobby hacks on like doing cockpit canopies, which I've not seen them try to do in like 20 odd years.
No.
So
fair
it's
enough.
not devoid of stuff. It's just different.
Yeah. I think it just needs a bit of I think it needs just stronger leadership. I think that's the best way I can put it. Yeah, it needs Paul Sawyer.
Editorial voice.
Yeah, it needs Paul Sawyer back. Everyone needs that bloke. And one day
or a Guy Haley, because their eras were kind of where I was most happy with what they were putting out.
Yeah, but then I just want to meet that bloke. I just want to meet him.
Well, Warlord's just around the corner from Games Workshop in Lenton.
True, but I'm all the way in Carlisle.
It's a bit of a walk.
There's no helping some people, honestly.
Let's get back to the dwarves here.
Alamir's lovely mixture of old and at that time new dwarves.
Yeah. Andy,
is a classic.
Yeah.
As somebody who's not really into the dwarves at all,
Yeah.
You know, what do you feel about this collection of 1995, 1991, and 1988 miniatures?
No, they're good. There's some really characterful sculpts in there. I love the fact that one of the for the troll slayers, they have a troll's head on a stick for their banner. That's great. The champion looks weird. He's colored like dark brown or something like that.
That's a much older miniature than the rest of them.
I mean, I can tell that the one on the right, the trumpeter, is a much older one as well.
Well, no, the trumpeter and the standard bearer actually were fairly recent additions, because when they first
the trumpeter doesn't look the same as the warriors, though. The warriors look a lot newer than the trumpeter.
I can tell you why that is.
Okay.
Because those slayers are all, apart from the one at the front, who is a he won't be pre-slaughter base, but he'll be pre-marauder. All those troll slayers are marauder miniatures, right? And all of them were done by Ali, except the trumpeter, who was done by Trish.
Oh,
that's interesting.
I might have that the other way around. But
I know that the standard and the hornblower, they released those a fair bit after the rest of the slayers, to be fair, because they didn't have a command group initially when they did the regiment.
No, because if you remember, slayers originally they were a scatter unit.
Yeah, and in the first armies book, they let you put them into a regiment, but you didn't have options for a standard or a hornblower. You just took your biggest, baddest slayer and then stacked everyone else around him.
Yes,
which was frankly terrifying.
You took the demon slayer, then you had a giant slayer to each side, and then the rest of it was troll slayers.
Oh, I always wanted to have 2 dragon slayers side by side and then 2
dragon slayers, not giant slayer. That's right.
That's because I'm a bad person. I just throw a blob of slayers at someone and wait for him to chew through it.
I will say
it's basically your demon slayer delivery system.
Yes.
Give me your biggest, baddest rune weapon and let him go.
I always like the fact that the demon slayer was actually bigger than Gotrek. And they finally released the Gotrek miniature. Oh, man. I love the dwarf cannon and the organ gun. They are just perfect. Just having those old style dwarfs with their little hats compared to the
Imperial dwarves were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I kind of like the newer dwarves, when they changed up these things instead of being quite old. I don't like these ones. Just look like you said, Empire dwarves rather than dwarfs. Yeah,
the more Viking elements hadn't got in during the 80s. There was some that had it, but a lot of it was the Imperial. You had the Imperial dwarf and the Norse dwarfs. They were the two that you basically got up until.
Well, up until the army book, to be fair.
Yeah, until 4th ed.
Yeah.
Because 3rd ed had Imperial dwarfs.
So Imperial dwarves were still a thing in the Empire book certainly through 5th edition.
Yeah.
I want to say they had them in 6th.
They were in 6th, yeah. After 6th, they vanished. By which point the dwarves, the dwarves had taken on a couple of different changes by that point.
Yeah, by that point the dwarf range was pretty stonking, to be honest.
It was.
Lovely.
Plastic gyrocopters.
Yeah.
Unlike this fucking metal bastard. If you look in the bottom corner, that down there.
The old original gyrocopter.
I have PTSD from that thing. You think the original Landspeeder was bad? Holy shit.
Did you have the metal gyrocopter that came after this one?
I didn't know.
The one that looked like a reject from MASH?
Yes. No, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. So, then we've got a little bit of an advert for Warhammer 5th edition.
That's a round table. That's a little table. Sorry.
And this was your Warhammer, wasn't it, really?
It was, yeah. It's the one I know of. I never had this set, but this was kind of the era I got into things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, this was the first box set of Warhammer I bought. I'd picked up army books for a previous edition, but this was the first one where I actually bought the box at launch.
My God. It makes me so sad that I'm the only person here who remembers the joy of the cardboard Grom.
Well, I mean, I knew about it. I just didn't own the box.
This one had a fallen over giant, so
it did. Yeah. It did, and it had an outhouse, which is one of my most favourite things in the world.
But most importantly, it had knights, lots and lots of knights.
It did. And the amazing thing of having the archers in their little triangle formations and the knights in the triangle formations. Oh, do you know what? I miss magic items and magic spell cards.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I don't miss the versions they had for 5th. I miss the versions they had for 4th.
Yes.
Because 5th annoyed me because it put the description of it told you what the item was and the spell on the back of the card.
Yes.
Which defeated the whole point of having the cards.
Yes.
Because I liked the mystery. It made it more fun because you didn't know.
That was the other army I had. I had an undead army.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I had a lot of horde armies. The only reason I remember that is because Van Hell's Dance Macabre, it was always a game of which card is Van Hell's Dance Macabre.
Yeah. That spell was just mean.
Oh, it was so good, especially when you had a magic item that let you play a spell twice in a single turn.
Yeah. I say it was mean. I had a vampire cat army myself at this point.
I had a Kemmler. I had a Kemmler-led skeleton army. Just a skeleton horde. It was shit. Moving on, I've got 2 adverts here for full-time and key-time staff for Games Workshop and an advert for the Citadel Journal. What do you guys have?
Like that.
We have an advert for Orc box sets, including the not at all problematic Orc Storm Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the Citadel Journal.
Yeah, and the big article on the Citadel Journal, which has some lovely conversions.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of these for the first time. They were brilliant.
I always think that doing conversions during this time and earlier takes more guts than anything anybody can do now, because you are digging through metal. You know? And if, like me, you only had a handsaw, this took work.
And it took a lot of green stuff as well without any tutorials to tell you how to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I mean, to be fair, I'm still kit bashing my old metal GW minis and modern metal Infinity minis.
You're a madman. A madman.
Yeah, I have to go back to plastic to relax.
Moving on. I've got another grand opening after that article. What have you guys got?
Stock. Stock lists.
I don't know if you were just telling me stock or...
No, just like we got 3 pages of stock lists.
Okay.
Stockists. Yeah. It does make Australia look incredibly dystopian, though, because they've coloured it as fire, with all the settlements being blue. So it looks... I know it's Australia and we joke, but man, that looks really, really Mad Max.
Does it look really Australian?
Yeah.
And then we've got a Sisters of Battle article where we... Oh, 3. Oh, okay, I'll have to go back. So yeah, we've got Sisters of Battle versus a Chaos army, a Eldar army, and an Orc army. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I find it really, really fascinating that the Sisters only get 750 points for the Chaos army, whilst the Chaos are a full 1,500.
Is that a campaign or something?
I think it is a narrative of some sort, but those armies are... As a defend mission, that's why. Mm-hmm. They always give... If they were doing like a proper siege scenario, they always gave the attacker double the force, because the defenders get the battlements to hide behind.
Yeah.
Which doesn't, to my knowledge, has never actually worked in any game I've ever played like that.
I once ran a Starship Troopers game where we replayed the entire... it was an Aliens game, but replaying the Starship Troopers rule, like the Starship Troopers scenario of the guys in the bunker all shooting down as hordes of aliens came around. And the defenders managed to absolutely massacre the aliens. Which, when you realise I was generating 2d6 of aliens every turn to run onto the board, that's kind of mental.
I mean,
there
is a slight difference between aliens and Chaos Space Marines, though.
Yes.
Who have a dreadnought.
They have a dreadnought. What do you think of the board that they've got here?
Who are you asking?
Anybody. Both of you. Andy, you spoke first. You tell me.
It's a little plain. It's a little plain at the moment, but considering the era, it's okay. I like the actual battle emplacements, but there are large blobs of nothing much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much of its time. Very much. We're going to march here and get blown away, possibly, or just endure all that firepower.
Throughout these three things, the Sisters Battle win the first one. Sister Battle and Eldar do a draw for the second one.
The Eldar map has a lot more stuff going on visually, which is nice.
The Eldar map looks really cool.
Yeah.
So when I was looking at this yesterday, just to refresh my brain, there's a bit in the middle of the Eldar map, and I thought it was people who'd been stuck on spikes. Then I realised it's just some
Seraphim.
Yeah.
Oh, it was barely a victory for the Sisters. It was 7-7.
Yes.
So it was basically a draw, but I guess by it being a draw, the Sisters just win.
Yeah, they just get there.
Jeez.
It actually says here, the relic was there for the taking, but time ran out for the Sisters of Battle. I'm actually glad the game did end because Mark had lots of howling banshees ready to charge.
Oh, yeah, that's never something you want to be in.
There's this thing about how the Seraphim were being killed by their own plasma grenades as well.
That sounds about right.
Plasma grenades. And then the Orc, it was Sisters of Battle got 10 victory points. The Orcs got 15.
Wow.
Wog, indeed. That Orc army looks amazing.
It's great. Look how many vehicles there are in comparison to the Sisters. Sisters have two, Rhino and an Immolator.
Yeah.
Is that an Immolator? And the Orcs have a Dreadnought, 2, 4, 5 bikes, and 2 war trucks as well.
Mm-hmm.
And a shock attack gun.
I was going to say, and at the back, a shock attack gun.
Oh, yeah, jeez. Well, that could go either way, to be fair, couldn't it? that could easily have killed half the Orc army.
Mm-hmm. I'm also really happy to see the Blood Axe Commandos in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Wait, did that Orc army... It's got Gazgul in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, where else was Gazgul going to be?
I had the points for it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you get Gazgul, get Gazgul. Man, there's a couple of Orcs that I'm trying to see here, and I'm just struggling to see them. My eyes just aren't as good as they used to.
Commandos.
Well, to be fair, it's not the best quality image unless you've got the real magazine in front of you.
Yeah, well, I do have the real magazine in front of me, and
then that's you.
Yeah, that's my eyes. Moving on, we got a nice little double-page spread for the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, they got the Flesh Eater Courts priest in there too. Years later, he still got a role. That's nice of him.
I like the Imperial Preachers. The fact that you had one of them that looked so much like Keith Flint from The Prodigy has to have been on purpose.
Oh, yeah. That point, absolutely.
Well, doesn't one of them look like Vivian from the Young Ones as well?
Yes, he does.
And doesn't the bald one look like a guy from EastEnders?
Is that Phil Mitchell?
Yeah, that could be Phil Mitchell.
Oh, I'm Phil Mitchell. Hey.
It's not Grant, it's definitely Phil Mitchell.
No, it's not Grant. It's too jowly to be Grant Mitchell.
Yeah, I agree.
Then
how many different ways can you paint the tourist militia?
Well, we have 3 molds.
4.
That's it.
Yeah. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we've got 4 shirtless guys. 4 of the bodice rippers. They're in various colours, and honestly, the blonde with white shirt, that makes me think that he's in fact 40k sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they talk about the battle and how it went and what they think worked and what didn't, and basically they just say, yes, the Sisters of Battle are awesome. So we move in then.
Buy them.
Buy them now. We move in then to Golden Demon 1997.
And they're still fucking great. They still look good, fuckers.
Those Night Goblins.
Fuck you, Barry Lees.
Yeah, those Night Goblins are spectacular. They are absolutely goddamn spectacular. Now, I think this is one of the first times I've ever seen the pink lips on a goblin.
I was never a big fan of seeing pink lips on orcs. I always think it looks weird.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it either.
I admit it takes skill to do it, but I always think it looks strange. Because I always imagine that orcs have green blood, so they wouldn't have pink lips.
Yep. That was a purple blood.
I always remember the
article that's true. Yeah.
Procedural Journal about orc and blood, where in universe it's highly oxygenated, but in reality it's that if you paint them with green blood, it looks like they've had an incident with the gooseberry squishy.
Well, that's why they had it as purple for a while, wasn't it?
Purple makes sense.
It shows up against the green. Yeah.
Could be worse. Could be white. Could just be like someone's had an accident everywhere on themselves.
Oh, God. That's what you want is white orcs covered in sticky white love piss. That's not what you need. Not what you need.
Well, I think it would make sense because, like, imagining plants. I'm sure there are plants that like secrete white fluid out of them. Yeah.
I have to say, it is somewhat amusing to have an advert for Golden Demon 97 in Birmingham in the Australian White Dwarf. That feels a little bit mean, to be honest.
Come to Birmingham.
It's crazy, isn't it, to think that Golden Demon 97 was taking place in the same place that they filmed Gladiators.
Yeah.
Just let that one sink in for a second, because that's mental to me.
And the close show live?
Yeah.
Birmingham used to be the place, man.
Best in Dogs, or whatever they call it.
Crofts.
That's the one,
Croft?
yeah. Crofts. Yeah. Then advert for the Citadel Journal, some stop press stuff, which is just all the different places that you can buy things. Have you guys got the deal of the month?
Prophecy of
Satan. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do, yeah.
Poster of the month. Each and every month, we lovingly prepare a free mail order poster deal. Each of these features a veritable plethora of miniatures from all your Games Workshop games. I remember getting these.
I never got them. Be brilliant, to be honest.
Yeah. I had a...
But then mail order was a very different beast this time, because I remember when I got my all-metal Cadian army, I ordered all the bits in one hit. And I ordered an exterminator, a Luminous exterminator with it as well, and they threw in a demolisher as a bonus. Basically, I didn't order it, but then I did order like 40 metal Cadians and all the heavy weapons guys, and a bunch of stillage and weapons for them to use. So
I remember ordering a massive chunk of night goblins, like just tons and tons of night goblins. And I remember they sent me the command group as well, which was like incredible. That would have been about 95, I think it was.
Yeah. But yeah, they would do stuff like that back then. Did you put in a sizable order of any sort? And some of the deals they did either through White Dwarf or the Journal, and even they did the special flyers that they sent out, because I've got a few of those knocking around. Some of the bundles they did for those, like kit bash bundles and stuff, were just brilliant.
I've just noticed something, and I've become very sad. If you got a White Dwarf subscription back then, you got all of the posters each month.
Ah.
Actually, you didn't necessarily need to have a White Dwarf subscription. At one point, you could just sign up to a mailing list. Sometimes they'd ask for you just to pay for postage.
Yeah.
But I did get an awful lot of stuff just sent through the post, even when I didn't have the subscription running.
I seem to remember getting, like, this is 92, I would guess, 91, 92, getting like big thing of dragons and stuff like that.
They did a thing of all the big beasties they were doing at the time.
Yeah. Shit now. I just noticed here that they've got pre-orders. The advance order for Gorka Morka, you can order it before its release, and it will be you'll get your stuff on the first day of release by first class post, which is only £2.
Oh, they've gotten here by courier will be free of charge. But then it was 140 Australian.
Yeah.
What was the damage in pounds?
Just 40 quid and £2 postage.
Oh.
Shit, no. Have I ever told the story of phoning the mail order don't know if I have or not. So when I was, I phoned the mail order, as I had a want to do every now and again, just to try and get an idea together if there was something like a deal that could be done to get certain bits and bobs and pieces.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the guy, and he said, all right, what's your address? Give him my address. He went, you're kidding me. I used to live 2 streets away from you. Which, as I was in my dad's, at Seaton, which is a village, was one of the weirdest moments ever. It's like, what?
To be fair, back in the day, the mail order team could also be, if you phone GW mail order, they could be quite fun to natter to for a little.
Yeah. They're always good, the mail order trolls. Always good. Have you guys got Shane's Army?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Andy.
Yes.
Look at those paint jobs, Andy.
I know, they're great.
Just look at them.
Yeah, freehand banner as well, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Banners, plural.
Good God in heaven, that is unfair.
And opposed dreadnought as well.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been easy for the time.
Works just wonderful.
Oh, God. And then, of course, there's some other bits and bobs. And let's get into my favourite part of the
Catalogue page.
Yeah. So, Andy, do you want to take us through the catalogue pages?
There's Space Marines, the Scouts that we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Nazdred, again, we talked about earlier. I think it's everything that's in the issue, isn't it? So there's Canoness, Sisters of Battle with Heavy Flamers, Heavy Bolter, Multi-Melter, Sister Superior, Sisters of Battle, just as standard troopers. Uriah Jacob.
Uriah Jacobus.
Sure. Protectors of the Faith. The Preachers, the Militia. The Seraphim, Alariel, the Maiden Guard, the Maiden Guard Command Squad, the Bolt Thrower, the Organ Gun, the Armored Skeletons, because they're not white, I guess, at this point.
Nope.
Oh, sorry, they're not Grave Guard. They're
No,
not Grave Guard at this point. They're just Armored Skeletons. The Dominatrix, and then it's all into the epic stuff for the Dominatrix, the Trigon, the Biovores, the Exocrines.
Exocrine, I think it is. I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Carnifexes in multiple poses, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Zoanthropes in multiple poses.
Yep.
The Hydra, that thing.
Hirajul, yeah, maybe.
And then the Hydrophund. Like an elephant, but with a Hydra on the front of it.
I heard that as Hydrofun.
No, Hydrofun. It's big water pistols everywhere on it. Then the Assault Spawn, the Horus Specs.
Yep.
The Malfactor.
The Malefactor is just a weird looking thing, like, isn't it?
It's just a big angry snail,
You
like
could
stuck to another snail.
you could have put that in Man o' War and said it was a Nurgle ship.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I could see that. Be funny if that's where it originally came from.
wouldn't surprise me at this point.
There's the Haradron, the Dactylis, maybe. That's the one with the balls and the arms. That's it. That's everything that was in the magazine. And it's all here. And if you want to buy it, you can buy it now. Just send our little green page in.
How many?
We've already filled in that you want Circle of Blood. We know you want that, but we've said it's an example, but buy it anyway.
How many of these have you guys filled in over the years and never sent
Never.
off?
Not one. Not one.
God.
Nope. I had a store. I would go to the store. I went to Metro, so I was good.
I filled in so many of these. At one point, the local shop asked if they had blank copies I could take home with me, and they gave me a pad.
Kind of the same, I guess.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's glorious.
It's just so much fun, you know? I'd have the latest White Dwarf of the Citadel catalogues, because they used to do those as well back in the day. Catalogues of all the parts available, all the minis, and just go through and listen and work out what it would all cost and all that, and put together an order of what bits I wanted. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
The fact you could pick out each component was just...
I
get
miss
why they
that.
don't do it anymore and why they stopped, but it was just... It was a nice thing that they did.
I've just realised, of course, on the very back page, it tells you all the Warhammer campaign packs on the one I've got.
Oh, typical.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to give myself an aneurysm remembering Circle of Blood, and there it is in big letters.
It already knew.
Motherfucker. But it means that Tears of Isha was the last one, not Circle of Blood. So, yeah, interesting. Cool. So, guys, what did you think of going through that little walk down memory lane?
It's nice. It's nice to see it all again. Yeah. All the nice artwork, all the nice old minis. It's all fun and dandy.
Nostalgic.
Maybe not all the articles that I would personally be interested in because this is battle, etc., etc. But it's still nice to see it and reminds me of a simpler time. And like I said, I really like how the magazine does its page layouts and all that jazz.
That's one of the things that really stood out to me, actually, was how the magazine looks. There's a lot of stuff in there that gets you really into it. Yeah. It pulls you in nicely. Yeah. With, if you consider at the time, in 1997, they're going to be using Apple Mac word processing and stuff like that, because you couldn't use anything else. They do an amazing job, especially when you look about what other magazines were out at that kind of time. There's a real push happening here for the art design of the magazine, which is glorious to behold.
Yeah, at the time it was like more of what I would say is what we're getting now, more just standard print, and that's it.
Yeah.
Where this was trying to do something a little bit more arty with the presentation.
I think there's a point, though, that White Dwarf goes too far with it. Which happened in end of third ed 40k, where you've got these really complex backgrounds and it gets real hard to read the text.
Yeah, it gets a tad messy.
Yeah.
That's the problem, yeah.
Some of those
That's where you need the editor to come in and go, okay, pull it back. We've gone too far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I think, that, honestly, this is the type of stuff I think is the perfect example of a magazine, not just of the time, but in general. It is the right amount of art design, but all the information is very easily absorbed.
Yes.
It makes me super happy. Super duper happy.
And I mean, there are a few pages of adverts for product, but they're not egregious to my eye. They're all kind of, I mean, it's for products for magazine. What do you expect? So
it's just nice.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that Army of Avalon giving you a nice preview of some of the new stuff coming in the upcoming High Elf book. That's nice.
The huge amount of
art, like the fluff.
Yeah, I like the front-loaded Gorkamorka stuff. That's the stuff that really sits out for me.
Of course you do. Do.
Well, you know my feelings on Gorkamorka.
I know.
The best Games Workshop ever made.
Slut.
Yeah. But it's a piece that really sets the tone for what the game's going to be, and they follow it up with a massive Tyranid epic preview, which is a hell of a preview, to be honest.
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean, and it's a full drop as well, because this all stuff all those nids came out the same month.
Yeah,
that was I think I remember when that hit. That was a massive. That was the biggest drop they did for Epic in one go.
Yes, but they are very small.
But I think as well...
Touché, sir.
Epic did try to drop as much stuff as they could at once. I think the Eldar stuff, that only came out over 2 to 3 months. And then that was it, Yeah.
But the other stuff had much more stuff pre-existing from pro editions. The Nids didn't have anything prior to this. They'd not been in Epic before. And it was a real change, because hell, they've gone into how they organised the army list, which was completely different to everyone else as well, because you had to work to synapse and broods on this weird hexagonal chart that they put together. And it's just a real, you know what I mean? It's a great preview of something that's spices up an existing game system.
Well, that's a lot of what is throughout the issue, isn't it? It's, you've got this big Tyranid collection showing you how the Tyranids are going to work, and then showing you how they play on the board, all the stuff they've got, all the fresh mechanics that the game's got. And then that's followed by the Sisters of Battle, who have shown you what they're like on the board, all the fresh mechanics they've got, all the different things they can do. And smattered with that, you've got Gorkamorka at the very beginning showing you a very, very brief look at what the game is and the lore behind it. And I still say Gorkamorka's lore is some of the best lore the Games Workshop ever made. It's wonderful. And then in between that...
bonus scenario for Storm of Vengeance.
Yep.
Barricades.
Brand new stuff. You got some new new scenery. Gets into a little bit of the Deathwing, shows you some of the armies that people have made. All in all, it's really solid, and it shows you what is for sale and what you can buy without it being rammed down your throat, I think is a really, it's a very difficult balance to hit, and it works really well. It does it brilliantly. Because it's not saying you can buy this now. It's showing you all the stuff that you can do with it, and then you make your own decision, which is usually being a hormone-riddled teenager. I want all of that now.
Yes. It was like the page of returning catalog is like, oh yeah, I had all of those.
I want all of this. So, with all that being said, then we'll start drawing this to a close. Andy, if people were to subscribe to you as if you were a White Dwarf issue, where would they go to give you £3.50?
Twitch, YouTube, all those places. Decayed Andy, Rotten Corpse, not the 10-year period. Also on the Moonbase 2 podcast as well. Just type in Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast. You'll probably find us. Me.
Has the Pretenders gone away yet? Or is there still another Moonbase 2 kicking around out there?
I don't know. There's probably still another Moonbase 2. I don't know if it's Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast, though. That's
no.
I at least tried to separate it. But there's probably someone called Moonbase 2 out there as well.
I remember about 2 years ago seeing that there's somebody else starting a podcast called Moonbase 2 and going, wait a second.
I don't think they're still going, but I don't really check.
No, I did send them a message and they never responded to me. So.
Oh well.
Oh well. And Big Swing D, if people wanted to join your OnlyFans, where can they find it?
Oh, if only I had one of those. Probably make more money than I do at the moment.
Yeah, it's just pictures of your feet.
No one wants to see pictures of my feet, trust me.
No, there are people out there who want to see pictures of your feet, trust me.
But no, look for David, spelt the old Welsh way, on all the socials.
You're going to say the old world way.
The old Welsh way, which is not dissimilar to the old world way, to be fair. But if you see a picture of a grumpy Cybertronian cup with a weird Welsh first name, that's probably me. I'm on all the socials somewhere or other. I contribute to ukanime.net as one of the resident mech heads and anime reviewers. And I also run our watch-along into Fluffenhammer.
You do. You're our resident watch-along inquisitor.
Yes, which if this hits before Christmas, drop into the channel. We'll be running some distractions for the holiday period to give people a chance to unwind, chill.
That would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. I have ideas. I think we're planning on ending things with
Rosikodoji,
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a nice way to end the end of the year, isn't it? Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely. If you start it in the morning, play the extended versions, you'll be done just in time for the bells to ring in the new year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever told the story before, but when I used to do a support at home for people, I used to enjoy doing New Year's Eve every year because, one, I'd forget it was New Year's Eve because I'd just be that busy, but the residents would be asleep. I'd do all my paperwork, do the tidying, and then 2 years on the trot, I went for a shit and people started cheering and fireworks went off, and it was great.
Did you feel like a god, a champion?
I'd never felt so alive.
Would have been really good if you had constipation up till that point as well. And just as you relax and it comes out, everyone starts celebrating and you're like, thank you. I needed this as well.
I needed a win today. Thank you.
See, by contrast, I worked a lot of Christmas and New Year's, both as a waiter, kitchen staff, and more than one New Year's, including Millennium Eve, as a barman.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
lads.
sorry. I can honestly say I've never, ever had a good... I'll rephrase that. I've never had a good New Year's Eve where we've done anything. The best New Year's Eve I've ever had was when I was around at a friend's house, and we were just watching TV, and Dave managed to screw up, and instead of going to Big Ben, it went to an Allied Carpets advert, and I just found that hilarious.
Good old Dave.
And then they screwed up and showed like 30 seconds of you spin me right round. I don't know who did it, but they deserve a medal. So, with all that being said, we will get out of here. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for listening, if indeed you still are. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.